Hey,
Hello,
everybody. Welcome to another Coco Tape.
hello, back.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Yep. And today is about friendship, Sammy.
Yeah, it's about friendship. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the Coco
yeah,
has
yeah.
so much to say about friendship. It is
Yeah, it's
because
actually
he's
not.
so
Yes.
grateful for my friendship.
I will wait until you express your gratefulness because of gratitude, because it was one of your topics actually you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. So let's go, Sammy. Why do you want to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah. It's today. It's the day that all the topics are sent over to my part of the playing field. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. You,
well,
you
I
open it.
think the most important part of friendship, which I always found very interesting, it has always been like I've always had this confrontation in my friendships, was that
Hmm.
I'm always the kind of guy that takes, that looks out for his friends, that knows when they are in trouble, that knows when they are in dire need of some care, actually. And
Hmm.
on the other hand side, it's always like, or mostly like, I seldom hear from my friends when I'm in need.
Hmm.
That's like something which I've taken with me, which is like, usually you'd say, okay, I gotta learn that. I gotta learn how to not care. Or I gotta learn but I don't want to learn that. I mean, many people that I know that talk about friendship, they always say that, you know what, I really got to learn how to switch it off, how to not give a fuck. And I'm just like, no, that's not what it's about. Because
Hmm.
that's not, then it's no longer a friendship. Then it's just you watching out over your own ass. And that's all it is. And
Hmm.
if you want to have a friendship, then that's what it takes. Because friends actually, you know, they got each other's backs. Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
that's my basic, what do you call it, 101 on friendship, the most important part. And the thing, or I think the best thing I learned about friendship, which is also, when I see my friends fight the hardest, then
Hmm.
then uh, then I'll make sure to take care of their heart, because that's what friends are for. So,
Hmm.
and that's why I sometimes do not respond so well to the hard treatment or the harsh treatment or well, but real friendship, I gotta tell you how it is.
Hmm.
If we're really friends, you're gonna take one up the head on the left side and then on the right side afterwards. And I'm like,
Hmm.
nah, that's not only what it's about. Of course, if I'm really fucking up, then yeah, do be my friend and tell me, hey, you know, stay away from, you're drinking too much, or I don't like the way your lungs sound when you talk. It sounds like you've been smoking way too many cigarettes or something like that, Yeah, of course. Or you don't get, you look fat or something like that. Yeah. Or you look tired. Although you look tired is something for me also. I've never had a friend who was encouraged by me telling him how tired he looks. So that
Hmm.
habit I don't get either. I'm like, okay, if somebody
Hmm.
looks tired and worn out, then you telling them that they look really tired and worn out will actually, it will enhance their feeling so. So it's not that you have to lie to them, but maybe you shouldn't be talking about that then. Maybe you should tell them, hey, so did you sleep okay? Did you what or what can you do? I don't know. Just be more encouraging. We're often, maybe it's also a Danish thing that we live in a country where I do, where I often feel that everything is tackled with irony and with being hard and using harsh words and uh, pulling each other around and being, yeah. And
Hmm.
I feel like, I think that's what people value about me, but at the same time have a hard time giving back.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. But
Oh,
for me,
yeah,
well,
for you.
friendship is, but you know, friendship is I think it's like it's very individual, really. People, it's just like words, right? You could
Mm,
say green, and everybody will have their take on green. Nobody will see green the same way. I think this is actually the problem is with friendships, real or not real or whatever, is that we forget to like question each other and ask, well, what does that actually mean to you? Or how does it actually make you feel? We take kind of for granted that people are in our heads and can see what we need or what we want. And for me, friendship is actually honesty, and also to be honest enough to say, yes, please, more of that, or no, thank you, not this today, and so on, and not being hurt by each other's way of reacting, right?
yeah,
So actually, it's the honesty to be able to be what you are and accept it, accept your friend and be accepted 100%. Because you also know, or I know, or expect that if you're honest and loving in a friendship, people can express themselves without fearing losing the friendship. This is the whole point. People are not really honest because they're actually afraid of losing the friendship because we're taught that we should fear to lose, right?
yeah,
Love, relationship, friendships, and so on. So way back in my case, because I'm a really good friend, but I'm not easy in that sense. Because I'm very straightforward and honest, and I don't believe that friendship is sugarcoating things. And I always used to tell my girlfriends because they would get upset when we were younger because I would not be the one that would sit for 2 years and pat them on the back and say, "Yeah, he's also terrible. Yeah, that's true. And I don't understand why this keeps happening to you and so on." I would always say, "Okay, I'll give you a day of this sugarcoating and buy you pizza and come home on my couch and hang out and so on. And then after that, we go to move forward." So if you want the sugarcoating for 2 years, you call the other girls because I'm not the one. So
yeah.
what happens is, and then I had some friends at some point, and this came out of another story that I'll tell another time. But I decided, I made these again. It's also like it's kind of like in a relationship, people forget this too. To like make the house Bible, I call it, like the agreements. What is this foundation? So I would tell my friends at that point that we agreed to disagree about many things, but
Mm,
we would be friends for life. So it
okay.
may mean that we didn't see or speak for a couple of years, who knows, or we disagree. Like now, I have one where we definitely disagree about all the stuff in the Middle East. Like very much so, and normally I would ignore this person forever. But as we made this oath, we like decided we are friends for life
Mm,
and we love each other for life. And that's it, period. This is a rule we made, and we also made the other one I told you that I like too. If it's important, because the thing about having each other's back is very important. I've always been, I felt, because this is me, I'm loyal like a dog. Like, if you call me from Africa and you're in some trouble, I'll come get you. I'll call in the troops, I'll find a way.
mm,
And this is what's important for me, not for everybody, for me, this. So we made an agreement, like also with phone calls, that that if we were real friends, we would agree that 2 calls in a row means you pick up, and it's important. And this is what I do, no matter if I'm sitting in a business meeting or whatever. Then I know it's important. Same with family members, because I'm not always on the phone. I don't always answer it. But if I see this is a call to react. So
okay.
for me, friendship is about honesty, and I'm not supposed or can't expect others to read my emotions, what I need or not need today. I can call and say, I really need this today, and the friend will give it, just like I will do the other way around. And if, like you, like many people, are very good at giving, but very not as good as receiving. So this is again my issue. This is me too. I'm very good at giving and fixing, and now my practice has been for a couple of years to actually receive when people would help.
Yeah,
Because when you're a giver, it's a pattern, just like in an intimate relationship. And when you suddenly run dry and actually need something yourself, the
Yeah.
other person and friend actually don't even know how to react
Yeah.
or what to do because the pattern is so heavy that like, and I've heard this from friends and family members, but we don't really know what to do because you fix everything yourself and you fix everybody else. So when you suddenly need something, we're like we don't know what to do,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
again, it all points back to ourselves with friendships, right? Like what is friendships and like and how many do you need and then this is the social lie as well, right? The program
Yeah. But I think it's also,
about
but there is also I find every once in a while there's it's as if there has come like this. Actually, that's a question I'll give you. The, is it just me, or is it that communication of friends in the normal circumstance or the normal circles is often based on this, this teasing quality? I mean, I do have it myself, that we can call each other and we tease each other and we say, you are always like this and you're always like that and blah 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 blah. But it's like the underlying tone, right? And sometimes there are days when you're really good at it, and there are days where it works, and then there are days where I feel that I can feel it with you actually. I can feel it when there are days where you really don't need that. I pick up on that
mm,
one.
mm. Yeah,
But
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
but
yeah,
but that's but it's very seldom that others will do that this the same way. Don't
yeah,
don't you don't you feel
yeah.
that too?
Yeah, but that's yeah for sure. But that's going a little deeper, really, because the point is, then we go and define who you pick as friends, right?
Yeah.
I think most have friends that are not really friends. They're based on childhood memories. Oh, I used to go to school with, and I have to keep seeing this person. I known him forever, or her forever. Again, sometimes you really got to rethink friends because when you would now we go back to the energy when you're on the same frequency, of course we find it easier to pick up on each other's where we are, right?
Yeah.
Just like sometimes before we talk I already know that you are in this mood,
Yeah.
right? I will pick up on it before the call is made. This is energetic communication, as we spoke of on the other tape about that it's all that really matters. And
Yeah.
picking up, just like you said, you'll pick up. I don't have to say, no, Sammy, today don't tease me. Like today I'm not in the mood. I will have to say that to somebody else
Yeah.
sometimes, of course, because they don't have the same frequency, they will not pick up on it.
Yeah.
So actually, it's interesting to like I have friends sometimes that yeah, but she keeps doing this and I really don't like it and I like it and I'll ask them, okay, so why are you still friends with this person? Well, we've known each other forever and it's
Yeah.
very, this program again. I actually talked to you about that at some point. There's something with somebody, an old friend, like, yeah, okay, so you know this person forever or whatever. But is it beneficial for you or
Yeah.
for the friend? Do you actually have a interesting exchange? Because I think we are in a time now where we have to shred a lot of things,
Yeah.
a lot of programs, and in this, of course, some people will go as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
and not that many will come around. No, but the people that comes around are the ones where you are the right frequency, and that for me is actually the friendships that are interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
as you said before, it's just very. There's often this stance when it's people that are just part of like the program where it's just an old story you're repeating. Then like
mm,
like we said, when it's old male friends, you're
yeah,
just basically repeating the first
yeah,
binge drinking like
yeah,
over and over and over again and
yeah,
talking about I remember last time, man, we had four
yeah,
Jaegers and then we had
yeah,
like the tequila and oh boy was I smashed, and that's all you're talking about. You're actually
yeah,
reproducing another time you got smashed, which is
yeah,
really really
yeah,
stupid. And then
yeah,
you have
yeah,
like then there's the next deepest level, which is like when it's like those moments where there's a breakup, right? And you
yeah,
talk to your best friend in
Mm,
brackets. And then she says like, oh man, he's always been like this. Like as you said, he's always been
mm,
like this, and he's such a terrible person. And you'll just, if you give her, if you actually say, yeah, you're right, and you poor girl, and how could you, and how could he, and
mm,
that was like,
mm.
then it takes 5 seconds and they actually say the opposite, right? They'll say,
Yeah.
but he was also he could be very kind. I mean, and that's what I miss so much. And he was, yeah, okay. And then you say, yeah, you're right. You're right. He did have
Yeah.
some qualities. As soon as you say that, then they will switch back again and they will say, but he was an asshole. Remember how he treated me there and there and there. And you're just
Yeah.
chasing someone who actually doesn't know what they want. So
No.
it's a pointless conversation.
Totally. It's a waste of time, really, or energy,
Completely.
actually. Yeah. Yeah. It is very interesting how we use that. Yeah. So I guess it's like I get of course this is as you get older, like sometimes you take up your relationships, friendships and
Yeah.
evaluate them. Like why am I actually friends with this person and why oh there's another one that's really good that I'm talking to my daughter about like now is like if you're together with somebody and you get tired you might be all fresh and happy. You go meet for coffee, and like within 15, half an hour minutes, you suddenly
You're
feel
drained.
tired.
Yeah.
Then you know, and this is like really easy test. You
Yeah.
just gotta leave that friendship. There's nothing in it. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
sucking out the life in you.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember when I was younger, before I know what I know now, I would have a really, really good friend and suddenly we were friends for many years, and it was everything was fine. Suddenly, every time I met this friend, I would get so tired. Like really, I would have trouble keeping my eyes open,
Yeah.
and I would leave, and I would go home, and I would wonder what is happening.
Yeah.
And that's of course because the relationship friendship was totally stagnant.
Yeah.
The habits, the ways, whatever. So it had to develop either together or else it must stop.
Yeah.
Luckily, it did develop together for some years, and now it's done. This is what the virus period did. We
Yeah.
were very different in our views there, so that relationship or friendship's gone for now. Um, but that's an interesting one. It's so easy to test yourself in this. Really, if you're in doubt and you sit somewhere and you get exhausted and drained, you must leave. You must just stop it. Just stop it and protect yourself, really, because
Yeah.
it's your life and it's our energy. Because there's so many energy vampires out there that consciously know it or not know it. But you must start seeing it for what it is and
Yeah.
remove yourself from it, really. Just remove yourself. There's nothing bad in that.
Yeah.
But again, many people are afraid of not having enough friends, not having any besties. Not where does this come from, by the way, bestie? Anyway, um, not being popular. As we have this thing again, the social lie, right? And if people don't have a lot of friends, they're weird or something's wrong with them, and so on. And I
Well,
went through
I
this.
think I think a lot of it comes from TV. I mean, to tell you the
Hmm.
truth, I think it's from all these series we've been binging and
Yeah,
speaking,
yeah,
talking of Friends, and
yeah,
and whatever
yeah,
there is,
yeah,
otherwise Melrose Place and what have you not. Things like
yeah.
that have really programmed how friends should be, and that you have these, they will stick by you and, but it's nothing that has to do anything to do with friends are like, as you say, it's like a very individual thing. The way of
Mm,
friendship is like formed, the way of friendship, what marks a friendship and everything. And it
mm,
is as you say, with the as soon as you get tired, as soon as you feel more drained, as soon as you actually feel like you're happy when you make an appointment with each other.
yeah,
Uh, but but as soon as the day comes around, you feel like, oh shit.
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
you know what that
yeah.
where you're at.
You should you should not be in it. You should not.
Yeah,
And this also comes like with family, birthdays and stuff.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
we're taught, socially, you must attend, and of course you do, and la la la
Yeah.
la la. I had this discussion with my kids actually, and especially my youngest, that has an A brain and really doesn't dig all this stuff with all these people together that you didn't pick
Mm.
yourself and so on. And I decided to respect that. I said, okay, you can pick, like you go to every second or third thing, where, of course, you really feel like it.
Mm,
And in the beginning, I was still harsh. I would say, okay, weddings, funerals, and like big birthdays, you must attend
mm,
out of respect because you like people attending to your birthdays, right? Yes, I do. Okay, fine. So it's a give and take. You celebrate people, they invite you for a reason. They want to see
mm,
you. It's not just to fill out. And it was so nice to give. I mean, I could see how relieved she was to be
mm.
allowed to actually feel, do I really want to go today? No, I don't. Well, fine. We're not gonna force you. Why?
No.
Just to keep up performance or, which it is, come with the whole family, everybody's happy. Yeah, 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 So again, I think it's a serious time now where people have to thread some more and think about their own energy. Because
Yeah.
when you're in good energy, you give more. It's a proper communication exchange, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's enough about that.
Oh
But
yeah.
we did have a little beef that day where you felt that I was too much in your face on a day where you weren't in the mood, and I will still say,
I
as I
wasn't. It
said,
wasn't because I wasn't in the mood. It was because I was drained. I was
yeah,
really drained. And I was like, and I could feel that. You have some days where you were. I mean, part of it might be actually stuff I've been watching myself. Things I've been watching on the phone or whatever. But where I felt more drained and more hopeless. Um,
mm, mm,
and yeah, when the weather also really affects you, when it's really really rainy and stuff like that, and you're just like, okay, man, this is one of those days that really just sucks the life out of me, man.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And the
yeah.
marrow, and that's one of those that I had. So it was like it was not just that I wasn't in the mood. I was like
No,
I was really feeling low.
yeah, 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 yeah. True, true, true. Yes, and that's true, and that's where. But again, I like you can call it the elephant in the glass door, but it's still, you know what I do, and maybe it doesn't sound very nice, but I think I've always like pushed, but only to push people to their better, like to snap out of it.
Mm,
But they have to snap out themselves. Of course, I can make tea and I can so you can go to bed, la la la, and fix things or sense things and stuff like that. But I think it's because I keep maybe naively enough believing that we people have the capability to switch very quick, because we usually like get sucked into our emotions and stay there a bit and like nurture the story. But you could also just swip it, 180, turn it around. Like, hell no, I'm not gonna, either go to bed and cancel this day out today. Okay, fine.
mm.
Or I, of course, put on some music and dance it away, right?
Yeah.
And this is, and then sometimes people don't feel like that, and I'm like, okay, that's your choice. You want to stay suffering? Fine, you do that. Without me, bye. You know, yeah, yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's true. Of course, you can be there can be days where you can turn it around, but there can also be days where there's a. I mean, I think you actually have some of those too, where you just pull the plug and you just dive down deep inside. There's like two
Mm,
ways of tackling it, right? There's one is like
mm,
dance it away, as you say, do something high vibrational, take a walk, ground yourself, whatever
mm,
it would
mm,
take, and jump in the water, whatever. And then there are other days where you just actually you dive down deep inside, and you
mm,
find out what's at the bottom of this, because there's also a reason for it, which might actually be positive, which might actually be,
mm,
because you've reached another level. There's another thing which I find these days is very, very is a learning curve. Let's call it that.
mm,
Is
mm,
that I often reach days where I see that, all these little, which is another thing that you say that is like typical for me, is the what do you call it? Overspringshandlinger. What do you call that in English?
yeah, well, you just, yeah, what do you call that? You call it distractions, right? You make
Distractions, yeah, give
distractions.
in, yeah. When you give in to
Yeah,
every little distraction, right?
yeah.
And uh, I'm living in a time now where I realize that there are very few of the distractions I used to love that actually work, you
Mm,
know?
mm,
So
mm,
so that is also that's also a new level where you
mm.
where none of the old tricks work anymore.
Yeah,
There's nothing, there's no respite from from this learning curve,
yeah,
this
no.
constant, expansion. There's no rest to be found from it. Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
And yeah, it's interesting you say it, and I also think that brings it back to that situation, and also maybe to our friendship, because as I said, I think we're at a time we can't waste time anymore. So you also got me as a friend because I'm a pusher. I'm a pusher.
yeah.
I'm not a cuddler. Pusher, I'll
Yeah.
push and push and push, but only not to tease or make the worst out of it, but to push you to your better, right? And it's the same my kids said about me because they may hate it when they were young, but now they're coming back and saying, "Thank you for pushing me that time when I really didn't, thank you for
Mm.
Now everybody else thought I was super insensitive or whatever, but actually it was not.
Pushy.
It was very sensitive. It's actually picking up on what people really need in that moment, even though it's
Oh,
very opposite what we're used to because we're used to the lie. This is why people overeat. Mommy will cook you some food or bake you a cake. Mommy,
yeah.
which actually teach kids to deal with their emotions by eating. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So they will medicate with food because this is the comfort thing, right? Which is sweet and kind, I know, and I still like to make pancakes and so on. But
That's funny, but I never
again,
did that. I never did that. I actually, or yeah, not never, but I seldom did that. I did it mostly actually by turning silent and then just holding my kid. That's
yeah,
actually what I
yeah,
did more.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good way entirely,
I don't know,
because
but we will
because
see. We will
in a
see.
way, as you said, sometimes you really need to push, but I find it's not the worst way because it's still, it's twosomeness in a way, and there are no words.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It just worked with
Yeah,
my kids actually a lot. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it's so individual. We do what we do as parents and what we have, in it. And I always just been the believer, and I would, yeah, hold and cuddle and see whatever is going on, and then I would push.
Mm.
you know. So it was like, okay, so now you go, get back on the bike, or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. And I guess, yeah, it's just different ways,
Yeah.
of communicating emotions and so on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well,
All right.
I think friendships are new now. They have to change a lot.
Yeah.
We will see a lot of people, and we've seen that. And then maybe somebody's noticed it themselves in their surroundings, their friends, relationships
Mm.
too, because the frequency now has been become very important to read it and to match it, right?
Yeah.
You can no longer be friends or be in relationships where it's about some programmed reasons, programmed rules, and so on. You have to find your own
Yeah.
frequency and communicate from that and leave things behind or friendship behind or whatever it is that's not on the same frequency because it will never,
Yeah.
never. And this is, it's difficult one to test, but this is what I'm still doing. If there's any kind of resistance, then it's just not meant to be.
Mm.
And then people say that's quite extreme. Like, okay, in every situation, always. So yes, actually, yes. But yeah, but we learned that we're supposed to fight for things, or we're supposed to fight for friendship, relationship, work. No, we're not supposed to fight. No, it's supposed to be smooth sailings.
Mm.
Of course, of course, we can disagree, but it's going to be in a cultivated way where we actually, we stay friends or in relationships or whatever. Yeah, so
True.
it's a difficult one, but it's very rewarding when you actually stand in that
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Okay.
All
Do you have
right. I
anything?
think we will pick up on friendships again along the way
Yeah,
because I think it's a really, really developing topic right now because friendships are there are lots of friendships that are going
yeah.
in and are dissolving contracts that are
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sold from sold contracts to
Mm-hmm.
social contracts that are being released.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
think it's a topic in constant development. So
yeah.
I bet you it's really nice to go back to friendships again and again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For
We'll be
sure,
talking
for sure.
more about it. But that's all for now.
Yeah, it is.
And
It is.
remember to like, subscribe, share, comment,
Mm-hmm. 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 For sure.
and
Yes, that.
yeah,
Do
we'll
that.
see you on
Yep.
the next one.
See ya. See
All
ya.
right.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.